Hello everyone, and this December 4th is not only the release of Tides of Torment after its delays, but also a host of new other information, such as new Total War games, the release of the Total War new mod manager, and yeah, we're expecting quite a bit. In fact, I'm fairly surprised that Creative Assembly want to announce so much / release stuff at the same time. It makes me feel like they are very confident about it, and really expectations must be high. So today, let's talk about that. But before that, a big thank you to our video sponsor, Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a platform where you'll be able to buy games at discounted rates. There's a lot of new titles releasing recently: EU4, Anno 117, hell, even Tabletop Game Shop Simulator, in case you want to run your own Games Workshop. There's so much it's really hard to keep up. And if you want to jump into all those titles, it's best to get yourself a discount, where Instant Gaming has discounts on all the titles, not just the ones that have already released, but even ones that are on pre-order too. Not only that, but we do have our free monthly giveaway going on. Win the game of your choice. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below, sign up, you don't even have to make a purchase. This is a company I use fairly often myself because, yeah, you know, gaming is expensive. Warhammer is expensive, everything is expensive, but I still want to treat myself. I recently got myself Jurassic World Evolution 3, fantastic title by the way, and I really only justified it because it was on a sweet discount. So, once again, a big thank you to Instant Gaming for the sponsor. Now let's return to our regularly scheduled programming. Alright, so like I said, we've got showcases galore and also the release of a DLC, which makes me think that Creative Assembly must be quite confident to have all major beats happening at the same time. Obviously, all the stuff is linked to different teams, because the people working on Warhammer 3 would not be working on, say, the brand new historical, at least I imagine. I don't really know too much details regarding the intricacies of game development, but I do imagine that they don't want to like split too much and then cause too many hassles. But that's not all coming out, as we are aware. Patch 7.0 is coming at the same time, alongside the new Total War mod manager, which I would say is very exciting. It does look like it's quite interesting from what we've been able to see from the screenshots. Now, if we're able to make our own mod packs within this new mod manager, I will absolutely lose my mind, because it's something that has been highly requested. But let's talk about the main points. Let's talk about new games and Warhammer 3, because a lot of people are curious about that, especially, you know, with Warhammer 3, a lot of people are thinking, well, it's the end, or maybe it's not, and maybe it is. So we should go back and talk about a few certain things. Oh, and sorry for blinding you, I still don't know if... Well, I just don't know if there's a dark mode for the CA website. It's kind of weird, isn't it, for the blog? So first, let's start off with Warhammer 3. Tides of Torment is releasing on the 4th of December alongside patch 7.0 and also the mod manager, so there's quite a lot there. But to the future of Warhammer 3, we do have a little bit of information. There's more Warhammer 3 content down the pipeline, where Creative Assembly are exploring different styles of content packs for DLCs, for bringing in single legendary lords and so on, which does make a lot of sense, especially to kind of kill off the droughts that we've been having, because there have been droughts, we can't just like ignore those, alongside what they claim to be the largest pack they've ever created for the trilogy, and we'll be able to see some of it on the 25th anniversary showcase on December 4th, unless something like that has changed, because it has not been mentioned in recent blogs. Looking at things logically, if they're going to be doing smaller DLC packs in between, it could just be the case that we could see smaller DLCs like Neferata coming out sooner rather than later, and then later down the year we'll see the end times content, which I think would ultimately be better for everyone, as yeah, these big content packs like Tides of Torment and the rest have been fairly large, but they have been kind of spread out. But that ultimately depends on what happens. Maybe the end times content has been in the works for quite some time now. It's something that we are kind of aware of with certain content pieces. Like, for example, the Chimera. We're finally getting the Chimera in Tides of Torment, but the artwork for the Chimera was found in the official art book for Total War Warhammer 3 that released along the same time as the launch of Warhammer 3, but the difference there is obviously the artwork has to be done prior. They've been clearly looking at certain units for a long time now. It does make sense. They're obviously planning. They must have some sort of internal roadmap, and I guess they decided this is where it was best to fit, which, I mean, for a Norska unit, why not, right? So it could be that the end times content could have been in production for some time now, just very, very slowly, until they go, okay, now is the time that we need to focus on making the DLC fully and getting it out there. Now, I'm just speculating that it's end time content, but keep in mind that the last, major thing that happens in this universe is end times, and that would be like a substantial amount of content, which, yeah, kind of falls with the idea of them saying it's the biggest content pack they've ever done. Watch me be wrong and they end up releasing, like, I don't know, a halfling race pack or something, right? Further to this, we do have these Deep Strike interviews that have been popping up on Warhammer Plus regarding Total War Warhammer 3, where Creative Assembly developers have outright stated, yeah, you know, there's still plans, we've got, like, a lot of stuff that we haven't done yet. Hell, they've seemed very confident with the stuff for Grand Cafe, which is something that I'd like to see, mostly because, look, I'm going to tell you really honestly, I've been really enjoying Cafe on the tabletop, so the more that we see in Total War is, like, the more potential miniatures for me to play around with in the future. But, you know, there's all these mentions of, like, oh, there's stuff that you can see from the mini range that isn't in yet. We've not seen the halflings yet. Or, you know, we haven't turned every stone. That stuff is them talking in more of a confident type of thing. Yeah, sure. Every point of confidence at the moment is questionable until we see what state Tides of Torment releases in and basically everything else, but if Creative Assembly seem confident, it does seem kind of interesting. The last comment is, like, you know, I think where we go beyond, I think we'd very much like to do basically everything. We know there's more in the world, and we really hope we can get to make it. They want to. Naturally, from a financial point of view, Creative Assembly would want to make as much DLC for Warhammer 3 as possible, because, like, we know by now that it makes them a lot of money. It depends, I guess, on, I imagine, how Tides of Torment does, because you never know with Sega and, well, just in general, Creative Assembly leadership. But if they're feeling confident, well, this should be interesting, subject to how time progresses in the next few weeks or so. The big question to be had is the showcase, though, regarding brand new titles, because we know that the 25th anniversary showcase will happen on the 4th, and will showcase or unveil the future of Total War for new historical and fantasy titles. Before anything, Creative Assembly have said in a, it wasn't a stream, I had to go check, but it was Steve and Josh basically saying that they want to change the wording of the future of Total War to be, like, exciting, because they see it as an exciting thing. Where everyone else sees it as a negative thing, which stems back for that of Creative Assembly's rather weird post regarding Free Kingdoms. Which, yeah. So from a player's point of view, I think it's kind of ambitious to reveal multiple new titles. I think it's going to be 2. Hell, it could be more, and they could end up doing some weird, you know, what they do with Marvel, that weird roadmap where it's like, oh yeah, you know, there's a title, but Creative Assembly wouldn't name, like, everything. They'd just go like, here's the next 2 immediate titles, and the rest of them it's like, oh yeah, historical, fantasy, sci-fi, or whatever, you know, Total War card game again, because they'll never flat out name everything. I mean, that's how it's always been with roadmaps. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a little bit of cloud of smoke, and that's it. I'm joking about the card game thing. I doubt they're going to revive Elysium. It wasn't bad, it's just the market's very saturated. But it does make me question what's going to happen, because yeah, there could be a little bit of fallout if they announce, like, say, for example, we don't know what's coming. There's rumors of 40k, there's rumors of Med 3, but there's been rumors of, like, 50 million games at once. So if they announce, say, for example, and for this example, we're going to use 40k and Medieval 3, one of them has to come out first. They're not going to bring a release date. They'll probably just do a coming soon and then just explain that the other one will come shortly after. Because they do have multiple teams. But regardless, someone's going to get mad because it's like, oh, why this game first and not the other one? It's just how it is. It's just kind of silly, but it's something that I expect. In all fairness, whatever happens, I think it should be a historical first. Because historical gameplay has really not really had anything for a while. Yeah, sure, Pharaoh was there, but Pharaoh wasn't that popular, which is a shame. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the words. It just should have released as Dynasties first. Hand to heart, I honestly believe that, yeah, if it would have released as Dynasties from the get-go, Pharaoh would have been much more better received than it is currently. People compliment it and stuff, but it doesn't really have a lot of players, and it's a shame because the campaign customization is what I feel should be a evergreen feature in every single Total War title going forward. I think the reason why I'm doing this video is, like, I'm hoping that they won't flat out go, oh, here's a Medieval 3, it's coming at the end of 2026. I feel like they should just announce the titles, showcase what's going on, maybe even some gameplay if they have some gameplay, but it very much depends on the state of the titles being worked on, and then say it'll come out when it's ready. Because one thing that Creative Assembly have been doing for a while now is, you know, they'll announce something and then it'll get delayed, and sometimes get delayed a second or even third time. Or, and this is my biggest bugbear, it's the, oh, we're going to reveal more information soon, and then it takes like 6 to 8 months. I think that's basically what happened with the Ogre Kingdoms as the pre-order incentive for Warhammer 3. It just took absolute ages to the point that it just became a meme. And it's something that I just don't want to see kind of happening again. Showcase stuff or allude to stuff when it's actually ready to be shown. Or, you know, do a stripped down showcase of just like concept art and stuff, rather than making everything like a flashy trailer. The trailers and stuff are cool, but show stuff a little bit early and, like, you know, show that things are being done rather than just everything's being done last second, in a sense. So I had to jump in with an edit here because, yeah, I kind of realized we got new titles being announced, but I do wonder what's going to happen with the Saga situation, right? Like, Total War Sagas were smaller games for them to test out stuff, right? For new titles and so on. So I do wonder if we're still going to get Total War Sagas, or they're just going to focus on big games. I think a saga every now and then wouldn't be a bad thing. I like Troy, I just didn't like how they handled Troy with the whole Epic exclusive thing. Yeah, it's just something that just popped into my head. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this today because honestly, I just looked at the calendar and went, oh my god, it's already close to mid-November, which is wild to me. I just can't believe it. So I wanted to talk about this because I've had it in my mind for a while, and, you know, since they originally announced it, there's been, like, you know, CA developer streams and the Deep Strike stuff. So, like, they're exuding confidence, which is kind of rare from Creative Assembly. So I just wanted to talk about it today. What do you think is going to happen on the 4th? What do you think is going to get revealed? I know a lot of people are saying, like, not 40k. I honestly think it could happen because while it's not a fantasy game, it is actually listed as a fantasy title when it comes to Games Workshop's, like, financial reports and so on. So the distinction is there. I mean, for all we know, it could be something else, but I don't think it could be Lord of the Rings. As much as I would love a Lord of the Rings title, I think it's a bit too expensive for Creative Assembly at the moment because, like, Embracer have been cannibalizing that IP really badly. God, I wish some other person had access to that that license instead of Embracer. What a cancerous company. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. It's been a while since, like, anything started kicking up, but as you can imagine, Tides of Torment is going to be kicking up soon, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Bye.